Welcome to the Deep Dive. We sort through, well, all the noise, the latest news, the research, to give you a real sense of what's going on. And today, we're jumping straight into something very current. The British royal family. Specifically, Kate Middleton's last-minute cancellation from Royal Ascot, just hours before.
Yeah, it really is a, well, stark reminder, isn't it, of that constant balancing act. Personal health, public duty, especially under that kind of intense spotlight.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to try and unravel today. We're taking a deep dive into the most recent developments, mostly the British royals, but we'll touch on a few other European royals too. And it's all drawn from the news reports, official statements you've been seeing. Our aim really is to help you cut through it all, understand the key things happening, maybe some surprising facts, and really grasp the deeper currents shaping their lives right now.
Getting to grips with the new normal, as you said.
Exactly. This new normal that so many of them seem to be navigating.
And Kate Middleton's journey, well, it really defines a big part of that, I think. Her abrupt withdrawal from the Royal Ascot on June 18th, just hours before. It just highlights the complexities, doesn't it? Recovering in the public eye.
It really does. The palace, they explained she was disappointed naturally, but said she's still finding the right balance.
Yeah.
That was the phrase they used. For public engagements, she continues recovering from cancer.
Right. And what's interesting, as you noted, is this is the second year Williams attended Ascot without her.
Yeah, last year she was actually undergoing chemo. This year it's different, but still about navigating that recovery, that balance during remission.
That's a really crucial distinction, and we saw William there with King Charles, Queen Camilla, and notably Kate's own mother, Carol Middleton.
Which says a lot about the family support there, right?
Absolutely, a strong support system. And this cancellation, it came after, well, a few quite visible engagements.
Yeah, exactly. Just days before Ascot, she was at the Trooping the Color Parade. That was earlier in June. And then the Order of the Garter service just a couple of days after that.
Important appearances.
Though, just to clarify, her very first official public appearance post-treatment, that was actually last year's Trooping the Color. But she had definitely started sort of ramping things up again earlier this year after she announced she was in remission.
And that announcement, that was back in January, wasn't it? On X, I believe.
Yes, that's right. She was very candid. She posted, "It is a relief to now be in remission, and I remain focused on recovery."
She also acknowledged that it takes time to adjust to a new normal, which feels very honest. But she did express hope, looking forward to a fulfilling year ahead.
And the support from Prince William publicly has been, well, quite powerful. Around her birthday, also in January, he posted that tribute, commended her incredible resilience, her strength.
Yeah, saying he, George, Charlotte, and Louis are so proud of her. It really shows that united front.
Definitely. And then on the flip side, you saw the family, including William and the kids. They chose to skip the royal Easter service in April.
Right. They spent it privately at their Norfolk home, Anmer Hall.
And that was their second missed Easter, wasn't it? Again, just highlighting these adjustments they're making as a family.
It's all part of that new normal narrative. And while Kate navigates her recovery publicly, King Charles, well, his own journey offers a slightly different perspective maybe on royal vulnerability.
Yes. He also shared some quite personal thoughts on his own cancer diagnosis.
He did. He put out a written statement. This is back in April. He talked about how the experience brings into sharp focus the very best of humanity.
That's quite profound coming from the monarch.
It is. And he expressed deep gratitude for healthcare workers. It's a level of candor about personal health that really does feel like a shift from perhaps past royal tradition, acknowledging those shared human experiences.
That shared vulnerability, it adds another layer, doesn't it? But if we shift gears a bit to Prince Harry, his path has involved a very public and, well, often quite contentious battle for a different kind of security, like actual physical security.
Indeed. Earlier in May, news broke that Prince Harry lost his appeal. It was about the decision regarding his security protection when he's in the UK.
Right, because his security level was lessened after they stepped back as working royals in, 2021?
Exactly. And he apparently stated he was devastated by losing the appeal. And this was quite striking. He said, "I can't see a world in which I would bring my wife and children back to the UK at this point."
Wow. That's a very strong statement.
It is, and it's more than just, a legal outcome. It sort of signals a hardening, maybe, of the official stance on who gets state protection. It draws a pretty stark line between working and non-working royals.
With huge implications for, well, future family dynamics, presumably. What does this security fight mean for Say, reconciliation with his father.
Well, it seems to be a major hurdle. Harry himself, he told the BBC, also in May, that his father won't speak to him, quote, because of this security stuff.
Right, so it's directly linked in his view.
Apparently so. Yet he also stressed he wants to reconcile. He said the ball is in his dad's court, and he added something quite poignant.
What was that?
He said, "Life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has." Which, really underlines the emotional weight, the urgency he seems to feel about it all.
Yeah, that adds a whole other dimension. And beyond the family stuff, Harry also had that big win, didn't he, in his tabloid lawsuit?
That's right. Earlier back in January, he settled with News Group Newspapers. That's the publisher of The Sun and the Old News of the World.
And the settlement involved, what, substantial damages?
Yes, substantial damages, and importantly, a full and unequivocal apology. The company acknowledged, quote, extensive coverage and serious intrusion into both his and Princess Diana's private lives.
A pretty remarkable outcome, really, given how long he's fought these battles.
It really is. And it highlights that ongoing struggle against media intrusion that's, well, plagued the family for decades, hasn't it? Especially for those who feel their privacy is violated for public consumption.
Definitely. And, speaking of public reemergence, defining your own path,
Yeah.
Meghan Markle has also had some notable moments recently.
She has. She made her return to Instagram right at the start of January. First day of the year.
Oh, right. And then almost immediately announced her new Netflix series.
Yeah, the very next day, January 2nd. It's called With Love, Meghan. And she described it as reimagining the genre of lifestyle programming. So her first big new venture in a little while.
Interesting. But amidst those new projects, there's also some personal sadness for her, too, wasn't there?
Yes, very sadly. Her beloved rescue beagle, Guy, he passed away earlier in January.
Oh, Guy. I remember Guy.
Yes. She shared a really emotional message on Instagram about him, said she'd cried too many tears to count and thanked him for so many years of unconditional love, called him my sweet Guy.
It's just a reminder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Behind all the headlines and titles, there are these deeply human moments of, well, grief and loss.
Exactly. And those human connections, the good and the sad, they ripple out through the wider family and their circles, too.
Yeah, let's maybe touch on a few other developments. They offer some interesting extra context to this whole royal picture right now.
Sure. Well, one thing that caught people's attention was Jason Nauf's promotion. Announced back in April, he's now CEO of Prince William's big initiative, the Earthshot Prize.
Okay, Jason Nauf.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why is that name significant again?
Well, he was previously involved in those bullying allegations made against Meghan Markle back when he worked for the couple.
Ah, right. I remember now. The Sussexes, of course, denied the allegations, and Buckingham Palace investigated, but the findings were never made public, right? Concluded in 2022.
Correct. No public findings released. So it's just one of those details that highlights the interconnectedness, I suppose, of the staff and the family members.
Interesting connection there. And shifting to the younger royals for a second.
Well, Prince George, he made his first public appearance of 2025 back in April.
Oh, yeah. What was he doing?
He attended a soccer match with Prince William. It was in Paris, just a fairly rare public outing for him, a little glimpse.
A nice father-son moment. We also heard some sad news in April, didn't we, about a former royal bodyguard passing away.
Yes, Graham Craker. He was 77. He'd been a bodyguard for both William and Harry when they were younger.
And he was there during some incredibly difficult times, wasn't he?
He was. He was actually present when Princess Diana died, and he was at her funeral. And he shared this really poignant memory.
Oh.
He recalled Prince William acknowledging him at the funeral and said William was, quote, comforted that I was with his mom on her final journey.
Oh, wow. That speaks volumes about those deep bonds formed within the hugh Really touching.
It absolutely does. But on a happier note, there's also news of a new royal baby on the way.
Oh, lovely. Who's expecting?
Hugh and Olivia Grosvenor, they're the Duke and Duchess of Westminster. They announced in March they're expecting their first baby this summer.
The Duke of Westminster.
Yeah.
He's King Charles's godson, isn't he?
That's the one. So yes, a very happy addition to the wider royal circle there.
That's wonderful news. But gosh, there was also some incredibly tragic news from another European royal family recently.
Yes, profoundly sad. Prince Frederick of Luxembourg, he died back in March. He was only 22.
So young. What happened?
He had a rare genetic condition, Pol-G mitochondrial disease. It affects the body's energy production. Just heartbreaking. His father, Prince Robert, called him his superhero.
Oh, that's just awful. A terrible loss. It's a stark reminder, isn't it, of the personal challenges these families face,
Hmm.
often away from the spotlight.
Absolutely. And just one final point, bringing it back to William for a moment. He also offered some personal condolences earlier this year, showing how tragedy can touch even those very close to the royals.
Right, I remember this. It was back in January. He posted on Instagram about the death of Ed Pettifer.
Yes, he was the stepson of William's former nanny, and he was tragically killed in a New Year's Day terrorist attack.
That's right. William wrote, Catherine and I have been shocked and saddened by the tragic death of Ed Pettifer. Just another layer of personal difficulty in their orbit.
Yeah, so when you sort of pull all these threads together, you really see this picture emerging, don't you? The ongoing health battles, these really complex, evolving family dynamics.
And that constant tightrope walk,
Yeah,
balancing private lives with very public duties.
exactly. It's a lot they're navigating.
So thinking about all this, what does it really mean for you listening to this, these recent events, these very personal challenges? They really seem to underscore this evolving idea of modern royalty, don't they? What does it actually mean, to navigate personal recovery, public duty, family estrangement, all into this relentless global spotlight? How might these experiences keep reshaping the monarchy's future? And maybe, just maybe, how do you think your own new normal, whatever that looks like, compares to theirs? Something to think about.